While I was learning about Japan, I also learned about the history between Japan and Korea. Well, I learned about sad history between Korea and Japan first. That was my first impression, my first experience in Korea, kind of blown away by it. Hello, my name is Katia. I'm from Belgium. I came to Korea in 2018, so that's already 3 years ago by now. What I did before I came to Korea, I was just a university student and I just decided that it wasn't really my thing to study in Belgium, so I decided to go abroad, and currently I'm doing modeling in Korea. No, I just started modeling in Korea. It's kind of a long story, but so when I was really young, I saw some movies that made me very interested into Asia overall, and mainly into Japan actually at first. So I kept on having that interest throughout elementary school, and after I graduated high school, I decided to go to university in Belgium studying Japanology, which is the study of the Japanese language, culture and history. While I was learning about Japan, I also learned about the history between Japan and Korea, and that's when I actually first got to know about Korea, and I thought, well, what is this country like? To understand Japan, I should understand Korea. So I did some research by myself and I started getting more interested in Korea actually. And language is a really big factor for me to know where I want to go, because originally my plan was to go to Japan to study there and to stay living there, since I really liked the language. But one day I decided, well, I'll just take a listen to what Korean sounds like. And I went on YouTube and I found this just random like makeup tutorial. I just thought it was so adorable and I fell in love with the language, and I decided, I'm sorry Japan, but I will go to Korea instead, because that's what I want to hear around me every day. Adorable, beautiful Korean language. Yeah, just overall I think it's beautiful, and the culture was just so interesting that I decided to visit Korea in 2017. I absolutely liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. So I decided, okay, this is the country that I want to go at. That's where I want to stay. So here I am, still here. Well, I did feel about it at first, but then I thought, well, anyway, it's another language, like extra learn, so kind of extra knowledge. I didn't really feel like I was very sorry about all the knowledge that I had, because thanks to that I got to know about Korea, and that's what is the most important, I think, to me. There surely is a difference. It's a little hard to explain two different languages, but Korean probably just sounds kind of softer, a little more cute in my own opinion. Japanese sounds, it's also very cute. It's really hard to explain. Wow, I didn't think about it. Well, I learned about sad history between Korea and Japan first. Okay, so this might sound a little strange, but I'm really into old style architecture. So I was totally crazy about like all of the beautiful temples in Japan. And then when I got to know about old style buildings such as Hanok, for example, in Korea, I got really into that. For example, the palaces such as Gyeongbokgung Palace, like it's so colorful and beautiful that I really wanted to go and see that with my own eyes. I thought it was really interesting because the contrast is just so huge, and it seemed like kind of unreal at first. I enjoyed the scenery, it was very interesting. It might be a little strange to have that as my turning point, but that was what made me really want to come here. I think it would have been the palaces, yeah. Back in the long time ago, like emperors and so on, where they lived. I did know about travel attractions or some beautiful places to look at, especially since I know that Korea has 4 seasons, so especially for every season there is a certain destination that would be very beautiful to see, and I just really wanted to experience that too, because Belgium doesn't really have 4 seasons. We just have kind of rain. I was really happy about that because I love hiking. I saw how many mountains there are, because I felt like, okay, I can, if I would want to, I can just go every day to another mountain, really like that. The first thing was my experience. Already just the airport impressed me so much because it was so clean and it looked really new and it was so beautiful, and the building was so big too, and there were all kinds of like cultural activities going on back then. That was my first impression, my first experience in Korea. Kind of blown away by it because, well, this is only the airport, and what lays outside, what am I gonna experience? This is amazing. Yeah, absolutely. I really like it, and I really would like to stay here too. Forever? I would like to just stay living here, like forever, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. When I first heard about the history, I was really devastated because it's just so sad and really unfortunate that they happened. So absolutely, yeah, I sympathize and I feel really sad about it. In the first year that I was staying here, I went on a trip with some of my classmates, and that was like a Hanok stay experience. That place really stuck by me because it was a very very unique and great experience. It was like a whole Hanok village, and I was just staying there for, I think it was 2 nights. And it was just so interesting because that was the first time in my life that I would be sleeping on the floor and experience like floor heating and such, and it was just really interesting. I was so happy about it. I have never experienced it. I didn't even know it existed until I came to Korea, and I was just so surprised, and I just think they should install it like all over the world. I don't know. Yeah, I think the shape and the way it's built just really intrigues me, because when you look at the way it's built, it's totally different from houses in Europe. In Europe they use bricks, they use but hanok are usually made out of wood, which is really interesting because everything just kind of thing fits into the other, and it just creates a building, which I think is amazing. Actually, I was not into makeup at all until I came to Korea, because there are so many products available. The first thing that I thought was really funny was the face mask, because I have never seen it before. So when I first saw it, I was so interested, and I thought, oh, I have to try this out. At some point in the beginning, I was kind of addicted to it, maybe because it felt so nice. Yeah, face masks. Yeah, I had like a panda and a tiger one at some point. My skin felt more like soft and felt moisturized. It was really healthy. There is a really big variety. I've never seen so many like lipsticks and all kinds of shades for foundation, or like so many eyeliners. There is just so many products available. Every time I go into some kind of store, I'm sure that I will find what I'm looking for, like any color that I can just imagine. For lipstick, for example, some store will have it for sure. And I just really like that. That's just so convenient. Yeah, so I think Korean makeup is a little more advanced perhaps, or it's like better for the skin. Already, first of all, people in Belgium don't really wear a lot of makeup. They usually, most people when you go on the street, they have even like just a bare face. They don't wear any makeup at all. But in Belgium, I would sometimes get outbreaks, while here it never happened, which I just thought was very fascinating. No, basically not wear any makeup just because I didn't feel like I had to, because most people don't wear any makeup, so I was comfortable with just going out and not wearing any makeup. I mean, there are also days where I just go out and go do shopping or whatever without any makeup on, even in Korea. But sometimes it does feel like I have to put on makeup, because it's really rare to see people on the street just with their bare face, except for maybe like in classes or something. Yeah, usually at Olive Young, when I buy something, they give quite a lot of samples. I think that's really nice. Honestly, usually don't use them, but they do give out samples, and that's really nice. I really like doenjangjigae. I think it still smells funny even now, but I just kind of got used to it, and I think the taste is very nice, so I'm okay with just ignoring the smell and just eating it. I'm fine with that. I've tried to cook galbichim multiple times, like maybe 3 to 4 times now, and I've heard it's pretty good actually, so I'm proud of it. Something really interesting at first was for me the Korean barbecue, because everybody has their own table, their own grill, and people share the food all together. And that was so interesting because in Belgium, when you order something, you get your own dish, like it's like yours, and you're not sharing with other people unless you're like together with some close friends and you're like, hey, do you want to try it? You have to offer them, like they can't just be like, hey, can I have that? But in Korea, it's like, oh, I want that, I'll just take it. Oh, you want some? Oh, here you go. Actually hard for me to kind of deal with it at first, because I was like, well, this is my food, so please don't eat it. But at some point, like now I'm totally fine with it. I'm like, yeah. Let's all share. 오늘은 제가 일본이 아닌 한국어로 오게 된 이유 말했습니다. 영상이 좋았다면 좋아요와 구독 눌러주세요. 감사합니다.